bait right there. Oh, she's really leaking now. Should be pretty easy to find that. I went ahead, bolted the frame extensions in, and bolted the core support in. Not completely. I still got 2 bolts where they bolt to the frame extensions on the insides. Those are the hard ones to get to. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff that bolts on besides that. I started hooking wires up. I got most of the wires hooked up and routed. This headlight, the bottom tab was also broken off of it that I did not notice at the time. So yesterday I did plastic weld it back on. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's what we got to deal with. But regardless, we got a running driving car now, so I need to get this thing up on the lift. I want to lift it up and see what's going on there and see. Well, obviously we're gonna have to drain the coolant out, but I want to see where the leak's coming from. Not only do we have the coolant leak here, yeah, that's definitely just coming right out of the radiator right there. Probably cracked that tank right there at the bottom. But also noticed this, that's oil, or some sort of oil. And this whole pan is cracked, but it's gonna stay because I ain't got a replacement for that. I ain't got a replacement for the front pan either. So looking around, what I saw is these transmission cooler lines come back, and look at this area right here. But then I look and it looks like it's oily above that. I was going to say it was these transmission cooler lines, but it's something up higher than that. So way up there, up top, I can see oil dripping down from up there. So I think it's not transmission fluid. I believe it is oil. Something up there, maybe the turbo is leaking. Something is. We'll have to glance up there and see. It might be under the turbo, but I can see the turbo from here, and it's coming from that area or below it. So as you can see, this subframe is completely different, where the two-wheel drive one connects across here. This one does not. It is completely open between here and where it bolts in the back. And then this is machined different, which allows you to get to that bolt very easily. So, yeah, completely different design from two-wheel drive to four-wheel drive. Here's our height sensor. It's seen better days. It's a little rusty, but I think it's still functional. Everything else looks pretty good. So, Oh, do we drop this? No, we don't need to drop that. We just need to get the radiator out. So I need to drain the radiator wherever the drain petcock is. There's a drain petcock. It probably drains right out the bottom of that. Yeah, it's definitely the radiator leaking. And we'll start draining the antifreeze out of this thing, and then I'll get a new radiator in it. I just made a discovery. This thing may have overheated. You ought to see this. I don't even know how this even happens, or if it's because of this being wide open. You see that? That is because it is packed full between the intercooler and the radiator. I'm just now trying to dig this out, and it is completely packed full of leaves. Oh. Well, this was a fail. As you can see, we're draining into that pan. That looks good and all. But listen. There's a hole in my pan. So it's just going into that pan and then going down in there and mixing into the oil that I had in there. I need to go someplace that does waste. I have multiple bottles of mixed antifreeze and oil, and you can't, I mean, yeah, sure, you can just dump it somewhere, but you ain't supposed to do that. So I don't. But, yeah. So this radiator needs to come out. That it is bolted to the intercooler. Maybe I'm wrong. Yes. It's bolted to the intercooler down here. Right there. So these might be different. The intercooler is bolted to the radiator, and that holds it in place. Let me go out and look at this one. I'm hoping that radiator has provisions for that. So, let's see. Yep, it does. It's like, is it bolted to something there? Is it bolted to the condenser? Or does it just have a bolt in it just because? No, there's a bracket that goes around the condenser right there. We'll have to get those two bolts out. Well, that's nice to know that they use the same exact radiator. This side's a little different. The bolt goes right in the side of it, right there. So it's a little bit easier to get to. The only thing I'm looking at is I don't know if that's gonna be able to, I'm gonna be able to lift that radiator up past the intercooler too. I'm probably gonna have to twist it and then lift it out. How does it look on this side? Yeah. I don't know. That's pretty tight. We might have to take the intercooler tubes off. And that's another thing. I think you could unleash some quicker boost on these things if you replace these rubber hoses. My band-aid's falling off. These rubber hoses are very, well, this one's not as much as the other side. It's very flimsy. Like, it's thin. So I think you could unlock some quicker boost if you put some more sturdy tubes on there, because those are going to expand whenever you do have boost. So the bolts on the one outside came out no problem. I saved them right there. These ones were pretty rusty. That one came out. This one broke. They have a metal square nut on the inside. It's detached right now from the radiator. Once I get the radiator out, I'm pretty sure it's broken. Once I get the radiator out of there, then I can get that off. I can get a pair of channel locks on the back side of that and run that out. We're going to put nicer hardware in there. So, all right, I got stuff to do. I'm going to get a different drain pan while I'm out. And I need some shop lights. I got one out over there. And then I got one out right above the lift right there. They were discounted lights. They lasted, what, 4 years? 5 years? Not bad. They were cheap. I'm going to get the same ones, actually. But anyways, on the mystery of the leaves were stacked maybe to right there, behind here. And this scoop right here So normally attached across the bottom there. Of course, they all got ripped out, so I'm going to have to take the flap off the one outside. But there's pins across there, and all the pins are still in there. It just ripped this thing off. So anyways, when they're on there, it makes a scoop that goes up underneath, so the air goes up into the radiator. And yeah, it wasn't getting to the radiator, obviously, because there was so much stuff shoved in the bottom of it. Alright, so to finish this video off, I want to get all the parts put on it, and I want to get the radiator put on it. I did get a drain pan. I went to the store, got a drain pan, also got my reducer for my paint, so I have that. We got the mixture of oil and coolant down here, but new pan. I need to go out. We're going to drain the one outside. The only thing is the transmission cooler is inside the radiator, so we are going to lose a little bit of fluid from the transmission, but it's not that much. So I want to get the other one ready to pop out. In fact, I'm probably going to take it off first. But I want that one to stay runnable. So when I swap this one, I need to put this one on that car too and plug the lines in, because I really don't have... What you could do is just loop the lines for the transmission cooler, but I don't really have a hose to fit that. So I'm just going to throw this busted radiator into that car, and hopefully it'll be fine. The most fun about all of this is going to be getting that radiator out without taking anything else off, because they put these spring washers on this plastic trim that goes around everything. So you have to get them off before you can just pull the radiator up out. How convenient. Now, I did remember I had assorted vacuum caps, and one of those fit over that bottom transmission line perfectly. You don't have to worry about the top one. Fluid's not going to run out of that, but the bottom one is low enough that the fluid's just going to keep coming out of it. So I capped it off, and we're good. So I'll have to do that on mine too till we get this one in there. We'll throw a cap on there just to preserve fluid. I think I'm going to get the hose out and just hose this down. This had a whole bunch of leaves and stuff packed in it too. I guess it's probably pretty common for these, the way that scoop is on the bottom. It scoops the air up through the bottom, and leaves and stuff just get packed in there. So it's not a really good design. As for this one, they bared me the suspense of taking the spring washers off, because they go in that shield that goes from the condenser to the intercooler. And I don't know if there's any on top, but down here there's none of those spring washers. They all go into the intercooler. So it saved me that. It's a little bit harder on this one, just being the intercoolers here. So that transmission cooler line is going to be ducked right there. And to get that spring out is going to be fun. But I guess we can do it. I think you can see it there. The other one's up top, and I haven't got the lines off yet, but I'm going to get to that here in a little bit. I have some stuff to do, and then I'll be back. Alright, so I've already spent way too many days on this video, so I'm going to speed things up a little bit, and I'm going to get this radiator out, and then probably try to bolt everything on. I had to do a little bit of body work on the fender, but we're going to do it all speedy, okay? Time-lapsing. Let's go.
watched the northern lights flash, took a photograph on a Paris street. Have you ever climbed a tall tree, asked someone for mercy, gave something away that wasn't free? I don't wanna get a vision of you stuck in my head, because I know that you were meant to be wilder. Another night of television while you're lying in bed, it's slowly gonna be the death of you. Have you ever really lived? You talk a big game, but it's just a matter of time. Have you ever really lived? We're all on the clock here. You're not playing good, now you're gone. So for once in your life, try the deeper water, feel the pull of whatever is out there, and ask yourself this once: have you ever really lived? Have you ever used your hands to build something from scratch that wasn't even for you? When you hear the waves are crashing over Nazareth, don't you want to see them? And I don't.
All right, so I was going to put the radiator, this is like the hold down in, this is the one that came off the car. Obviously it's broken, but we're gonna have to repair it, because if you look at them, it's longer because of the intercooler being in there. The radiator is set back further, so now that I have this in here, it's really pulling this forward, and it shouldn't be. In fact, you can see how far away it is over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some hot staples in this, and then we're gonna put this one on since it's a little bit longer. This is hard. This is not, it's not an easy job if you want to leave the air conditioning and the intercooler and all that. I did have to take the intercooler charge pipes off to get them out of the way so the radiator can come up. Also, the intercooler and, yeah, nice gloves, huh? The intercooler and the condenser clip down into the radiator, so they have to be lifted up and out of the clip before you can lift the radiator out. So there's a lot going on there. I found it was easier to take the radiator out. It's so tight down here to get that hose off down there, and I figured it was going to be hard to put back on, so I took it off up here where it goes into the water pump, and it was a lot easier to do it that way. Now I lost one of the spring clips for the transmission cooler. It's very common. I keep some of them on hand, so I went and grabbed another one. Could not locate it anywhere. You need to let me work. It's already there. Yeah, because I'm a good husband. I'm going to give you a pill. 3 inches from the gooch. So I went and took my pills, and then hot stapled this. You can't even tell I did it from the front. You just see the crack on there. But it's sturdy, I can tell you that. This is like that fiber plastic. It has fiber reinforced. I had to turn that thing up on high to melt it. Yes. Ready to go.
Have you ever really lived? You talk a big game, but it's just a matter of time. Have you ever really lived? We're all on the clock here.
I do not have enough Dexcool on hand to fill this thing up, so we'll have to do that at a later date. Let's just go ahead and get all the front end. Well, let me mess with some of these damaged parts here a little bit. Yes, I got a hammer on the corner of this fender here because it's out of shape. So hammer and dolly it is. Let's go find those and do that. There's really not much I can do with this with a hammer and dolly. As you can see, that's knocked in. It's double walled with a bracket there, and that bracket has a bend in it from the factory. So where it's dented at, I can't. The only way I'm going to be able to get this is to bolt it to the car and then use my dent puller and pull it out from the outside. So we might as well just roll with it the way it is. I brought this out a little bit. I already knew I was going to need some putty here, but I wanted to knock it out a little bit more so it wasn't as bad. And I need to do the same thing with that one. And the dents up there, I don't know how they're going to go, but yeah, that's just going to be tapping it down, I think, and then adding putty up in there. Also, I'm pretty sure this whole car has been painted at one time. This hood's been repainted, and the sticker on it, there's a sticker there. These stickers have been restuck on, as you can see. See how that was peeled off and then restuck on there? So this whole hood, it might be a new hood or a resprayed hood. So the chance of my color matching is about 20%. That's my guess. I don't think it's gonna match. Regardless, we're gonna blend over a large section. I'm gonna try to blend it from here over to here, so it's gonna be a large blend area, because this metallic, if I get too much over in the section, if I don't get enough over here, I'm gonna have to miss the black across there. I'm also gonna have to miss the metallic. If I get too much metallic over here, it's gonna mesh with this metallic and then look like a metallic stripe on there. Or if I don't get enough on there, then it's going to look like metallic, black, then metallic. So this is going to be a very tough one to match and blend. So there you go. Test fitted everything up. Everything's looking good. There's going to be some spots I'm going to have to do like some touch up after I'm done painting and stuff. It ended up damaging right here a little bit, as you can see. And in order to get this hood fitment to be right, it's already got the paint cracked right there. But I'm going to have to softly tap down on this and hopefully get that to go down without putting too much of a dent on it, because if I end up needing to paint this part of it, then the blend is just not going to work. So that's why I said we're going to try touch up, and then also the very edge of the hood right there, which touch up on edges like that, that's not bad. You know, just doing a little dab here and there, that's not bad. But if I would crack the paint up here or put a dent in to make it look horrible, then I would have to do some body work right there, and it's not good. Also, need to do a little touch up right on the edge of this door, I think. Yeah, I might buff out when I have the fender off, but it did leave some marks in it right there, so I'll try to buff it when I have the fender off, but still, I think there's already touch up paint on it right there. Regardless, everything fits up good. Surprisingly, the fenders were, I had to, manipulate them a little bit. I did tap this wavy section down a little bit. So we will have to do a skim coat on that and then sand it smooth, but I think that's going to look fine once it's painted. And then over here, we have a section right here that wants to dip down, and this is lifted. Now I can make it, what I ultimately need to do is tap this down and try to pull this section out, or do it with it off the car, because with the headlight on right now, I can't. I can get into it with a pry bar and push on it, but it pushes this up as well. Actually, with the bumper on, it might help. I don't know. I was trying to pry it out, and it's just the fitment. You can tell it's just dipped down in right there. Regardless, being a black car, you don't really notice that. And this is a little bit off here, but it's very, very close. We need to bring the very tip of that out a little bit, and like I said, the dent puller for the rest of that. Very minimal body work. It's gonna go together pretty smooth, I think, actually. Oh yeah, I'm just looking at how my fenders fit up and everything, and oh yeah. Oh yeah. So now that I'm all sweaty, I'm gonna leave you with this. If you like this episode, smash that like button, consider subscribing. Hit that dislike button if your mom wants to come over and lick the sweat off my shirt. And we'll see you on the next episode on Wrecked.
What a beautiful jerk you are. Yes. Oh, you got itchy ear.
Wish I could get him on video yelling like he does. He has got a meower on him.
Oh, yeah. Give me a little lick. Thank you. He's a big boy. What are you doing? He's so soft and cuddly, but he don't like to be pet. Oh, sometimes he does. Look how big he is. Monster. Chase you. He said, I give up. I was trying to chase him and he just fell over. Thank you. Thank you for the licks. Oh, look at them. Here's the precious orange. What are you doing? You smell something on the couch? Was it something good? Your mouth's open.
Miss Stella just took a healthy dump.
How you feel? You ready to rip now? Huh? Lightweight? Ready to rip? You ready to rip? Oh yeah. Get it. Oh, your brother took it. Alright, you want to say bye-bye? No? Do you want to say bye-bye? Hey. 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 You want to say bye-bye? Do you want to say bye-bye? Hey. Hey. Do you want to say bye-bye? No. Busy.